Depending on your algorithms and preferences, you may find that neurodivergent conditions, particularly things like ADHD, autism, dyslexia maybe, are coming up regularly on your For You pages, both here on YouTube and indeed on TikTok. But that's not the case for everybody, and that's why we're talking awareness training today and why employers need to be thinking about awareness training. And in part because we're seeing it all over TikTok and YouTube as well, because we need to make sure that people have got the right information. So a quick introduction to me and why I'm talking about this. My name is Jenefer, I'm the founder of Silk Helix, and we are a neurodiversity specialist HR consultancy delivering management training, indeed neurodiversity awareness training, and indeed how that fits into the whole employment law piece. And awareness training is becoming so much more important and something that employers really do need to be thinking about. And it's not just awareness training. So I filter neurodivergent conditions, the impact of neurodiversity, that sort of whole spectrum of different brains that we have in the work environment. I filter that through all of my management training because it has an impact. It has an impact on how we support people, how we manage people, how we lead people. Really important that this is understood, and not just by managers, but also by colleagues. So in this video, I'm going to give you my 5 reasons why every employer should be doing neurodiversity awareness training and some really specialist training in the individual conditions as well. So the top one being the Equality Act. The Equality Act 2010 says that employers and indeed service providers for their customers have a duty to provide reasonable adjustments to anybody with a disability. And the definition of disability is in the Equality Act as somebody who has an impairment which has a substantial impact on their day-to-day activities and is long-term. And many who are diagnosed or even undiagnosed with neurodivergent conditions would fit within that legal definition of a disability. So the Equality Act requires that we make reasonable adjustments, and awareness training itself would be considered a reasonable adjustment, particularly when it comes to neurodivergent conditions, because a part of what we're looking at and how we support somebody is understanding that range of differences, understanding the benefits of those differences, understanding where somebody may need some extra support, where we need to adapt how we do things. And awareness training brings all of that. Now, I'm not suggesting that we stand somebody up at the front of the room and start pointing out all of their challenges. We can do this with confidentiality. It's up to the individual how much they want to share. I do encourage people to share with colleagues because I think it makes it easier to support each other in a team if people have shared, but I also fully understand why people would be hesitant in sharing. And one of the things that awareness training will do is break down some of those reasons why somebody will be hesitant in sharing their neurodivergent condition and the challenges that they face. So the Equality Act, reasonable adjustments, awareness training itself, and more detailed training for managers would be a reasonable adjustment, and that could be where training on specific conditions would also be important to meet that reasonable adjustment, because you could do a lunch and learn an hour session. We do one on neurodiversity, which goes into the understanding of neurodiversity, understanding of neurodivergent conditions, but it doesn't go in depth into the individual conditions and how that might impact somebody. But also really important that whoever's delivering that training focuses on the differences that people might experience. So one person with ADHD is one person with ADHD. They're going to experience it differently to another person. And of course, co-occurring conditions and things like that as well. So your awareness training, not only should it be compliant, just tick the box, yeah, we've done it for compliance. A really good trainer will have lived experience, will have expertise from qualifications, and will be able to look at that, the neurodiversity side, the neurodivergent condition side, the workplace environment side, and how they kind of merge together to be able to deliver a training that really does create awareness for the right situation. So after we've ticked the kind of legal box and we've done that bit, what other benefits are there? Well, I think there's still 4 benefits left that employers really should be thinking about. The first one is enhanced well-being and employee retention. So when people feel that they can bring their authentic self, as I mentioned previously, people feel that they can open up. They're much more likely, once awareness training's been done, to be able to talk about their condition, the challenges, the positives. They're much more likely to be able to be honest with colleagues about what they're really feeling or what they need. That is going to have huge benefits on well-being, which reduces absence, improves performance, and is helpful for retention as well. It means that people are much less likely to leave us. We know there's huge costs in finding new members of staff, and in some industries, real challenges in finding replacements when somebody leaves. So that retention is really important as well. And then the next one in there is improved innovation and productivity. Again, why as a business would you not want this? In the current climate, the business world, it's so competitive. This isn't just about ticking a legal box. This is about having competitive advantage. This is about being the business that customers want to come to, that is coming up with new ideas, and that employees, people who want to come and work for you as well. So productivity, really important. So when people are not having their needs met, when their challenges are high, and they're struggling to perform as a result, that's going to decrease productivity. It's going to have a negative impact. Whereas when we understand someone's challenges, usually there are sort of small cost tools we're talking to put in place, or some small adjustments in how we manage and support people, can have huge impacts in productivity. If we change the way potentially we look at how we divide up work so that things are done by the person who's best placed to do it. Like I know from myself, there's certain tasks, activities that are best that I delegate and have somebody in my team do, because they're not my thing. They're not the thing I do best at. Why not have that within the team? And of course, we also know that alongside the challenges comes a whole host of strengths of those with neurodivergent conditions: creativity, problem solving, seeing the world differently, just coming up with new ideas. So innovation is all things that business can benefit from if we allow people to really be in that place. And I, again, from my own experience, can talk about how it's the employers that embraced that side of me that got the best out of me. The ones that were so focused on the attention to detail and the sort of dotting the I's and crossing the T's bit and didn't want me looking at the creativity really struggled. And I struggled in those places and didn't stay very long. So it is about making sure that we've got those bits sort of fitted together so that we get the best out of our teams. And again, as I say, competitive advantage to business. Why would you not want to do that? And the next benefit is to teamwork and collaboration. When people understand each other, when people can have empathy for each other, when there's understanding of what is your challenge, what's your strength, or where we can play to the strengths on the team, that's going to have huge benefits for the team dynamics, how people work together. When there's no understanding, when you cannot understand why somebody struggles with something, or you can't understand why this person wants to go off in that direction or not that direction, it can make that team really stressed. Whereas when you understand that, when you can see why the differences are coming, collaboration becomes so much stronger, because you can see where the different directions are, the different thought processes, the different challenges and strengths, and you can look at how you play all that together to the best advantage of really having a really strong team. And the final benefit that really pulls these things together is your reputation as an employer and attracting talent. We know that we live in a world now where attracting talent into the business is so challenging. We know that about 20% of the population are neurodivergent. That talent pool, and indeed the wider talent pool, because once you're looking at being an inclusive employer, I certainly would not advocate for being inclusive just on neurodiversity. We're looking at being inclusive employers across the board. So this neurodiversity awareness training, I would strongly recommend, is sitting alongside a range of other awareness trainings that you're doing, and those things help you to attract a wider pool of talent. And that wider pool of talent means you've got in different ideas from different places, that you've got that innovation, you've got that competitive advantage. People will stay because you're a good employer to work for, and they won't want to be moving on. And you're that reputation piece, promoting it as well. So don't do awareness training and hide it under the carpet. Promote it, tell people, use your your LinkedIn, your social medias, your website to show that that's the type of employer that you are, and that these things are being done and refreshed on a regular basis. It's not just, tick box, that'll do for 10 years, we don't need to do it again. And then eventually you find that everyone there wasn't on the training originally. These should be being refreshed and updated and built upon in a range of ways. As I say, when we do just general management training, we're looking at neurodiversity and how that impacts our management styles throughout all of those trainings. So they should be feeding into these different pieces, which just means as an employer, you've got that rounded attraction of diversity, you're able to promote, and therefore your reputation as an employer is going to be a lot higher, which is going to help you when it comes to recruitment marketing. So if you want to talk to me about neurodiversity awareness training, specific training in ADHD, dyslexia, or management training in general, then do get in touch. There's a link in the description below. In the meantime, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. Hit a like on this video too, that really helps us out. And I shall see you next week with the next video.